So this is going to be a video on making cake pops. These are some trimmings off of the cake that I made for my niece's birthday. And this is a extra layer that didn't get used for the birthday cake. And what I'm going to do is smash these up and break them all down into very fine pieces, and then we'll go from there. So this is the consistency that you want the bread to be. Break it down to real small crumbs. It's not gonna look as picture perfect when I do it with the trimmings from the cake, but those have French buttercream already stuck to them because I trimmed the cake. So typically you would add buttercream to this mixture in order to make it very sticky, make sure it sticks together when you make your cake pops. But because there's some left over on the trimmings, I'm not going to add any buttercream, and we're just going to hope that it's a good ratio. So okay, so now we've added that blue mixture of trimmings and those crumbs together, and as you can see, it's got a nice doughy texture there. You really press it together and end up with little balls like this, which we're going to use for our cake pops. Now, I've had so much trouble getting perfect shapes with these cake pops that I decided to get a meatballer. So we're going to try that out today. Alright, so here we go. You see this larger ball. I'm going to go ahead and plop that into here. Squeeze down, wipe off that excess, pop her out. You see? Now, in my research before getting this, I found that that crack is a bad thing. So the first time that you press it into there will just be to cut off excess. You just go ahead and smash it all back up and make sure that that crack is completely resealed. You don't want that in your final product. It'll break off halfway when you're dipping it in the chocolate, and then you'll be making a mess trying to fish it back out of your chocolate. So I'm going to set this in here. So for the second time, press it in here, wipe off any excess, and voila, you have a perfect little cake ball. Let's set those aside and do that until you run out of material. So alright, so all the basic form for the cake balls is done. Cake pops. I keep calling them cake balls, but they're cake pops. Done. So now I'm just going through and making sure they're all nice solid cake pops, because I don't want any of them to fall apart in my chocolate. Like I said, that'd be a big mess, and I don't want a big mess. I want the easiest cleanup possible, and I want perfect cake pops. That was the purpose of investing in the meatballer, and I'd like to get a return on my investment. So after I finish rolling these up, I'm going to go ahead and set aside sticks for the cake pops. Count however many I need. and I'm going to melt just a little bit of chocolate and dip the ends of the sticks into the chocolate before I put them into the cake pops. That's once, and then I'll put that in the fridge for about 15 minutes. Once that chocolate sets up, it does a great deal of anchoring the cake pop to the stick, so you have a little bit more strength when you're dipping it into the chocolate. Otherwise it'll be too heavy and it'll fall off the stick, and again you're gonna have that mess. So we take that and we stick it right into the bottom of that cake pop there. Right? That's perfect. So stand it up in here. And to the next one. Do that. And do that over and over again until we get through to the last one. I have a feeling that I have more cake pops than I do sticks, so I'm going to experiment with just leaving a few of them as cake balls, and I'll dip them in chocolate and just go ahead and set them inside of cupcake liners, you know, the little liners you get for cupcakes. It'll be good. And I'll go ahead and make sure I show you how I end up doing that. Now we're just going to pop these into the freezer for about 15 minutes, and then we can start dipping. Okay, so now we're getting to the fun stuff, the dipping. This is white chocolate. I've melted down the morsels the same way I did the others, and 30-second intervals in the microwave. This is a little something I picked up from Wilton. They are basically shortening chips. If you didn't have these, you could just use regular shortening. And I don't know how much chocolate you're talking about. For mine, I used about a tablespoon of these Easy Thins, but you can easily Google proportions. Now this is blue candy melts that I've melted in again 30-second intervals, and now I'm dipping the cake pops into this chocolate, and when I come up I'm doing a little twist so that blue that I have in there comes with stripes. Once you dip it in, you put it in a 45-degree angle and you tap it till all that excess comes off. Then we've got it all tapped off. There's no more excess coming off. And you go ahead and you stand it up in this styrofoam here. I picked this styrofoam up at Michael's for pretty cheap. I think it was like $4. You go ahead and let them set. I'm going to do that about 2 dozen more times, and I'll have a batch. Again.